Welcome back to Inside Nashville, where our guest today is the newly minted chairman and CEO of Universal Music Group Nashville, my good friend Mike Dungan. Before we took a break, you were talking about the red button and making a decision, and obviously there are times like on whatever the game show is where you punch Jeopardy or you punch the button, but an artist comes in, a manager comes in, you know, this is when I need to be pushing the button. Tell us a little bit about the process of signing a new artist and what goes into that.
Well, for me, it's been, with varying degrees of success, it's been a combination of a lot of things. Sometimes I will see people once and feel right away, I have to be involved in this, I have to do this. For others...
And may I stop you there and say, so when you say I have to be involved in that, what is it that's compelling you so?
Well, it's a combination of raw talent, and you expect that from everyone. If you don't have that raw talent, it's pretty much not going to go anywhere. And star factor. And if that artist can communicate in a way between the songs in a way that you feel will translate to an audience, that's a tough part. That's a tough thing to teach to anyone if they don't have it already. And then if they take it one step farther and they have an aura about them, that's magic, and that happens very, very seldom. Alan Jackson had an aura about him. He walked into a room and you didn't need to know what he did. You wanted to know everything about him. Luke Bryan had an aura about him. At first, I wasn't sure that his material was strong enough, and I, you know, really that's when I went back to for months and months and months before making the decision to sign him. But the minute I saw him, I wanted to know everything about him. He was just a guy that walked in the room and just commanded, you know, all attention, and that's really, really special. Occasionally you'll find those that have that charisma to them, but just do not have the talent, and that's heartbreaking because you can't really teach talent. You can't really teach the between the song stuff that effectively. So it's a shame that only a few out there have that charisma to them.
So out of all the people, let's say, I mean, you've seen, and I've been in that chair before, and you're seeing literally thousands. I mean, when you look at it in a percentage, I mean, out of 100 people, I mean, out of how many do you sign out of X number, do you think, in your career at Capitol?
I would guess 1 out of 50, 75, I don't know, I've never really thought about it, but...
So maybe 1 out of 100 might be a good...
1 out of 100 might be good, yeah. I mean, we probably look at 2 or 3 a week, and maybe sign 2 or 3 a year. So whatever that, if someone has a calculator, you can help me with that.
Maybe Brian in there.
Yeah, you know, and that's the long and the short of it. You know, it's a lot of muddling through things. And when I say muddling, I don't mean to be disrespectful to those who we see. A lot of people have great talent, but to transcend and to step away from the pack, so to speak, really takes something really special.
So we talked earlier about Mike Dungan, great success, but good guy. So, which is not, doesn't mean that you can't have great success and be a good guy.
I know you can.
I know. But if Mike Dungan was on, when someone comes into their office and you say yes or no, is Mike Dungan, if you're on American Idol, is Mike Dungan Simon? How do you come across on that meeting? Because when you're sitting there with a new artist, maybe he's a manager, there's a guitar player, whomever, maybe you and your A&R person, and you're there with that person. How do you, if you realize within the first minute or two that this is not going to work, how do you talk to that person after they're finished with their pitch? Well,
usually they come with a business associate, a manager or a producer or something like that. And I believe that, you know, the worst thing in the world for any human being would be to come in and audition, lay their soul out, and have it ripped apart. So I will never do that, have never done that. I'm actually very, very encouraging, and sometimes I have problems because people will leave my office and they think that they have a deal.
Mike likes me.
And then usually I'll circle back to the manager and say, okay, I'm not going to do this, and I'll tell you why. And it's because your artist has real talent. She looks great, she sings great, she hits all the notes, she converses very well, she's got all those elements, but there is nothing unique and special about her. I don't want Carrie Underwood Part 2.
Right.
I don't want Miranda Lambert Part 2.
Right.
I'm looking for uniqueness, and sometimes I will sacrifice vocal talent for uniqueness, and the audience clearly feels that way.
Right.
You can see it in sales of music. Many people have big songs that are performed spectacularly, and they don't sell that well, which means people don't really care to own that piece of music.
Right.
They enjoy it when they're hearing it on the radio, but they don't really care to own it. They don't have to have it. And I always look for that have-to-have thing.
Right.
And it's tough. You know, there was a point there at Capitol where I had so many different, unique artists that all stood apart from each other. They were all dramatically different. I thought, well, how many more varieties are out there? Can't be too many. Maybe I should quit right now.
Well, you did a great job there at Capitol.
Thank
You did, and it's still showing the fruits. Do you look back and say, is there one that you think back and say, I missed that one?
I miss Zach Brown.
Oh, you did?
A lot of people, everyone in town missed Zach Brown. I didn't meet Zach personally. The whole thing was portrayed as Zach was kind of a grumpy guy that mistrusted major labels, didn't really want to be on a major label, but might consider being on your label if you say and do the right things. So that right away, that's a little bit of a red flag.
Your antenna.
And then they don't really look prototypical. Not that that's absolutely important to me. But more than anything, I couldn't get past the fact that on first blush, they felt like a jam band. They felt like a band that was doing their own thing, and they didn't really have an interest in country music. They just did not have anywhere else to go. And I was wrong. What they do is very much in the pocket of country music. They've embraced country music. Their songs are not 7-minute songs. They can still show off their musical virtuosity within the confines of a hit song that's 3 minutes and 33 seconds on the radio. And I missed that one.
Right. Well, and those are things that you don't always know. I mean, and you'll sign an act and you hope that it's going to move into something, but you never know which way it's going to go.
That's right.
That's interesting. So you mentioned, you hit upon something that, again, I would imagine that a lot of viewers that are not working within the industry are sitting out there saying, well, I've got a great social networking program, and I've got great Twitter followers, and we're out there on the road and touring. And our last episode, we had Troy Tomlinson from Sony ATV Tree, and he was talking about how important terrestrial radio still was, and it was the #1 driver for their revenue. So in this new world of new technology and social networking and all the bells and whistles, is it for record companies still terrestrial radio that's pretty much driving everything at this point?
Absolutely. But there's no question, social marketing is spectacular. And if an artist comes to the table and has already whipped up a really solid fan base, that means a lot. I don't know that it's ever going to tip me one way or another, but it sure makes me smile wider when I find out that, you know, they've already know how to do it and have already been working on it. You know, that's the thing that Taylor Swift had going for her when she was very, very young, was she was sharing her little demos that she was doing with a tremendous amount of people and making very good, fast friends and an army of fans that were willing to do whatever it took to see to it that she became the star that she is today.
So what's the balance then between giving that music away? You're running a record label. Your primary revenue stream is selling albums. Record labels don't traditionally participate in touring revenues or merchandising revenues. So with that being your primary revenue source, how do you, when you're sitting down in this new paradigm, in this new world, what's the balance between engaging a fan base with free music, or basically saying, look, we've got to sell the music and that's how we're going to build the fan base? How do you fall? What side of that do you fall on?
You know, it depends. It goes from case to case. As an old school guy, I'm 58 years old. I've been doing this for 33 years now. My first blush at people who were giving away music was, they're crazy. That's how we make money. I certainly came around quickly to the benefits, to see the benefits of how that worked. And I think that you know, it's actually beneficial to go out there and try to engage that first adapter and try to get them on your side. Sometimes that you can accomplish that with one song, sometimes it's 3 songs, sometimes it could be more than that, sometimes they can be demos, sometimes they have to be masters. I think it really depends on your confidence level with the rest of it, and you just kind of have to guess and read the situation. But no, I think giving away music at one point in an artist's early career is a very good investment.
And that's an interesting move, and we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk about the future. We're going to talk about new technology and the big P word, piracy, and how that's affecting the models as we move forward. So please stay with us. We're here on Inside Nashville with our guest, Mike Dungan. Thank you.